Before we begin, this story was almost erased from history. If you're fascinated by the unknown, the classified, and the unbelievable moments of World War history, hit subscribe now, because these are the stories they never taught. And once you hear this one, you won't forget it. What if I told you that modern beauty standards, face transplants, reconstructive surgery, even cosmetic enhancement, were not born from vanity, but from war? What if plastic surgery wasn't created to make people beautiful, but to make them human again? And what if the faces you see today on screens, magazines, even mirrors, are the aftershock of one of the most brutal conflicts in human history? This is the war that created plastic surgery. World War I didn't just change borders. It didn't just end empires. It changed the human body. For the first time in history, soldiers were fighting in trenches, their bodies hidden, but their heads exposed. Machine guns, high-velocity bullets, shrapnel that didn't kill you, but tore your face apart. By 1915, military hospitals were filling with men who were alive, but unrecognizable. No jaws, no noses, burned skin, missing eyes. These men weren't called patients. They were called the broken faces. Modern medicine could amputate a leg. It could stop bleeding. It could remove bullets. But faces? There was no science for that. No textbooks, no procedures, no precedent. Doctors could keep soldiers alive. But then what? Send them home? To families who wouldn't recognize them? To children who would scream? To a society that pretended not to stare, but always did? These men survived the war, but were erased from peace. Governments quietly realized something terrifying. A generation of disfigured veterans wasn't just a medical problem. It was a social crisis. In Britain, one man saw the future before anyone else. His name was Harold Gillies, a surgeon, an observer, and some would say an obsessive. Gillies didn't see ruined faces. He saw structures, bone like scaffolding, skin like fabric, faces like buildings that could be rebuilt if you understood the design. He began experimenting, not with machines, but with time. One surgery became 5. 5 became 10. He invented something radical: staged reconstruction. Slow, painful, precise. And then he crossed a line no doctor had crossed before. Gillies began moving skin, not grafting it flat, but keeping it alive. He cut flaps of skin, left them attached to blood supply, and slowly rotated them across the face. Patients walked around with skin tubes hanging from their bodies. They were, mocked, stared at, hidden away. But slowly noses formed, lips returned, jaws re-emerged. For the first time in history, a destroyed face could be rebuilt, not replaced, not masked, reconstructed. By the end of the war, Gillies and his team had performed over 11,000 facial operations. plastic surgery was no longer an experiment. It was, well, a discipline. But here's the part they don't talk about. The public wasn't allowed to see these men. Photographs were restricted. Hospitals were isolated. Stories were, buried. Why? Because governments feared what the faces would say. A limbless soldier was a hero. A faceless soldier was a question. A question like, was this worth it? Plastic surgery didn't just repair bodies, it protected narratives. It made war survivable, not just physically, but politically. After the war ended, the surgeons didn't disappear. They refined their techniques, and slowly, the purpose shifted from function to form. If you could rebuild a face destroyed by shrapnel, why not reshape one altered by age, by birth, by insecurity? The same methods used to give a soldier a jaw could give someone symmetry. The same techniques that rebuilt noses could perfect them. Plastic surgery slipped quietly from necessity into desire. World War II didn't reinvent plastic surgery, it industrialized it. Burn victims, pilots, atomic survivors. Skin grafting improved, anesthesia advanced, techniques became standardized. And, well, something else happened. The surgeons who were trained during the war, they returned home. They opened private clinics, They marketed reconstruction as enhancement. The war scars faded, but the techniques, well, they remained. Today, plastic surgery is everywhere. Jawlines, lips, noses, faces, all optimized for cameras and algorithms. But beneath every procedure, there is a ghost, a trench, a battlefield, a man with no face asking for his life back. Plastic surgery didn't begin as self-expression. It began as salvation. And yet, what does it mean that a science born from horror now defines beauty? What does it say about us that techniques meant to restore humanity are now used to chase perfection? If war hadn't torn faces apart, would we still be reshaping them today? If those soldiers hadn't survived, disfigured but alive, would modern beauty even exist in the way we understand it? Or is every modern procedure a continuation of a war we pretend is over? Plastic surgery isn't artificial, it's historical. And well, every time a face is changed, you're seeing the echo of a battlefield from over 100 years ago. So here's the real question. Did plastic surgery save us from the brutality of war, or did it help us forget it? And if beauty was born from destruction, what does that say about the world we're building now?